Could New York City Mayor Eric Adams be running a pay-for-play extortion racket involving his administration and the now resigned NYPD Commissioner Eric Cabin? With federal raids targeting his closest allies and allegations of shakedown surfacing, the real question is, how deep does this corruption go?
He went on about how he thinks that I should just close the bar, and if I don't close the bar, there's only one way to get the police to stop doing what they're doing.
So we're gonna be checking out a video that happened about a week ago about a bar owner being shaken down for money by someone in Eric Adams' administration. Let's get into it.
Federal corruption investigation into City Hall and the NYPD now includes allegations of a shakedown. A Brooklyn bar owner says he was told that his problems with the NYPD would go away if he paid the police commissioner's brother. And he says it was a worker in the mayor's office who tried to help arrange that deal.
Here we go again. Another day, another corruption scandal in New York City tied to Eric Adams' administration. We already know there's a federal investigation into the mayor's office in the NYPD, but this is really a bombshell because it's basically saying a shakedown. It adds a new level of grime into this whole affair. What's shocking is how brazen these allegations are. We will watch this in a second, but we're talking about a system here. Allegedly, bar owners are being extorted by the people connected to the mayor's office in the NYPD. This is systematic corruption. The fact that a city worker may have helped arrange this deal shows how deep this problem goes. And we have to ask ourselves, how many more stories like this is going to come out before Eric Adams takes responsibility, maybe steps down? Corruption in City Hall seems to be rampant under his watch.
Chuck, the bar owner had his permits, his liquor license, and his share of noise complaints. But what he says he needed, a break from tough NYPD enforcement. Seeking help, he says he was introduced to a mayoral staffer and then to the twin brother of the NYPD's top cop. And then he says he was asked for thousands in payments.
That sounds like a shakedown to me. That sounds like some mafia style extortion. If you pay this, we'll take care of you. If you don't, then you already know what's going to happen.
I felt like it was like I got an ultimatum. Like, it's either you get with this or you're going to get shut down. We're going to make sure you get shut down.
Shamel Kelly says it was this man, mayoral staffer Ray Martin, who first told him he could pay the police commissioner's brother to help get better treatment from the NYPD.
He just said that he was assistant of Eric Adams, and he know people, and he dropped the Mr. Eddie Caban name because he's I guess the NYPD commissioner, and I was having problems with the NYPD. Later, Kelly says the police commissioner's brother James Caban told him he could help with his NYPD problems if he paid him $2,500 up front. The state liquor authority says Kelly's bar was not facing any charges of wrongdoing, but there were dozens of noise complaints to 311 about loud music. Kelly says he felt too many cops from the 6-0 precinct kept showing up, hurting his relatively new business, the Juice and More Bar, along Mermaid Avenue.
So we have a name, Ray Martin, someone working directly for the mayor. This is someone with ties to the mayor himself. If this is true, it's extremely disturbing that someone in such a powerful position will be suggesting some $2,500 bribery as a result of NYPD harassment, what he's saying. What does this say about the culture at City Hall? I mean, this dude is having a bar, it's too many loud noise complaints, but that's not the way this should be working. Maybe you should be working with the bar owner, trying to figure out how they can reduce some of the loud noise outside the bar. But this is not how it's supposed to work. Not, hey, give money to this other person and all your problems will go away. Well, that's not really resolving the issue of the loud noise. It just sounds like a way to get someone who's in some trouble with his business to make that person pay out money. That is extortion. And New York City Mayor Eric Adams constantly claims that he is all about transparency and accountability. But how can he justify having someone like Ray Martin on his payroll? Whether or not the mayor had direct knowledge of this, it's happening under his administration. This is his team that he put together. And that means it's his responsibility to clean it up. But can we really trust that he will? Or again, is this just the tip of the iceberg?
And he says his pleas for help from the NYPD and local community board were unsuccessful. Kelly said he never expected that Ray Martin from the mayor's office would give him this advice.
He went on about how he thinks that I should just close the bar, and if I don't close the bar, there's only one way to get the police to stop doing what they're doing, and that's to speak to one of his friends, which was the James Caban guy.
James Caban, an ex-cop, is the twin brother of NYPD Commissioner Eddie Caban.
Wow.
Kelly showed us phone records and text messages from August 2023, where Martin from the mayor's office allegedly encouraged Kelly to contact James Caban. Hey, Shamel, reminder to call James. Kelly says these phone records and texts show he and the commissioner's brother discussed the issues surrounding his business, a business which was a juice bar by day and licensed to serve alcohol on weekend nights. James Caban allegedly wrote, spoke to the commanding officer, and the biggest complaint from the community board is that you're registered as a juice bar, and now you're doing parties there. Lots of noise complaints.
If you have a license to serve alcohol, it shouldn't matter. And I also explained to him that the community board knew that it was the summertime, so he knew we were going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday night events.
Records suggest Kelly and Caban also spoke by phone. And that's when Kelly says James Caban asked him for the initial $2,500.
Wow. So at first glance, you might think that this is just a noise complaint issue, but it seems like there's a little bit more here. This is a textbook example of how power can be abused. The bar owner is facing what seems to be an over-the-top response to some of these infractions. That could be negotiated. Maybe there could be some kind of conversation with the NYPD to try to find ways to reduce noise complaints. Obviously, during the summertime, on the streets of New York City, streets in Brooklyn, it's loud. However, in the community, there's ways to try to find ways to work together where bar owners or these business owners can make money, helps the entire community, and also try to reduce some of the issues that they have when people are outside partying. But the problem is the only deal that this bar owner received was a shady deal to make the problem go away. To mention the police commissioner's brother, that was an ex-cop. He has no authority about this at all, except that, hey, if you pay him some money, he can make it all go away. It feels like it's a deliberate way to exploit connections to high-ranking officials. This isn't about a bar making noise. It is about corruption at the highest levels. If a powerful person like James Caban is using his influence for personal gain, where does it end? And again, Mayor Adams can't just sit there and act like this has nothing to do with him. This is his administration and these are his people. And that's the reason why that the NYPD commissioner had to resign.
He said that he will mediate my issues with NYPD. He could bring them to me, have a meeting, resolve our issues, is what he specifically said he could do. After he said I had to pay him for it, I felt like it was him trying to extort me.
And he shouldn't have to pay for that. He should be able to try to get that meeting for free. I mean, it's all taxpayers in terms of paying for the police and paying for all these administrators. He shouldn't have to pay to play, which is exactly what's going on.
So I just was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'll just deal with it how I deal with it. And it got worse.
Kelly says the Ray Martin and James Caban connection bothered him.
I assumed that you would be like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's call a meeting. Let's figure out what this problem is. I'm not expecting for you to be like, oh, you got to pay me some money if you want this problem to go away. Nah, like that doesn't fall with me.
Martin did not return requests for comment. James Caban's attorneys issued this statement. Mr. Caban unequivocally denies any wrongdoing. His work as a consultant and acting as a liaison between the department and a private company is perfectly legal, especially given his previous career as an NYPD officer. Our client has fully cooperated with law enforcement, and once their investigation is complete, it will be clear that these claims are unfounded and lack merit.
That's why, again, the NYPD commissioner, Eric Haven, his brother, had to resign. So it didn't look great at all.
Former NYPD Chief of Department and NBC New York consultant, Terry Monahan.
Everything we heard from the bar owner, if those allegations are true, it's at minimal unethical and possibly criminal in the way that they were dealing with the bar owner.
I've been really like hurt, disappointed, stressed, depressed.
Kelly is not just making the allegations now. He posted his concerns on social media back in February, but at the time, few noticed. As for Juice and More, Kelly closed it down in February.
I don't think it was just me. I think that's probably a thing that's going on in New York City specifically.
Which makes sense. If this was happening to him, This was probably happening to a lot of businesses. I'm wondering in the next couple of weeks that other business owners will come out and say, you know what, I talked to this Ray Martin person. I was told that if I pay some money to NYPD commissioner's brother, that all of my issues will just go away. The police won't keep showing up for noise complaints. In fact, that it looks like to me, it's possible that the NYPD was used in situations to get people to pay money for these bribes. If you were able to concentrate police activity to certain areas affecting certain business owners, you could find ways to make money out of that situation because business owners need to run their business. And if they're having too many issues, they become desperate. And then this Ray Martin guy comes in and says, I can get all your problems to go away. We have to spend a few $100s. That is a business. It's an extremely illegal business. And that's the sad part, that this bar owner felt like he was alone in this. And that should worry everyone. If this kind of shakedown is happening to other small businesses across the city, then we have a much bigger problem on our hands. This kind of environment drives small businesses out, ruins livelihoods, and damages the fabric of the community. For Adams to say he's working for the people, but actions speak louder than words. Where's the real accountability? How many other small businesses had to close because of these similar tactics?
City Hall late today issued this statement. We appreciate WNBC for bringing this information to our attention yesterday afternoon. After receiving this inquiry, we immediately began an internal review and found that Mr. Martin violated the terms of his employment. Mr. Martin was terminated for cause yesterday. We expect all city employees to act ethically and in the public interest.
It don't seem like Ray Martin was a big player in Eric Adams' administration. But it's interesting. You're firing one staffer, and then after the media starts asking questions, it feels like more like damage control than real accountability. I mean, this person was upset about this for months. I mean, the business is already closed. It's done. It seemed like it only happened after NBC brought this to everyone's attention. If the only reason they fired Martin because NBC brought it to their attention, what does that say about the mayor's leadership? Shouldn't these type of violations be caught before the media has time to expose them? The public deserves better than this reactive approach. Mayor Adams needs to take proactive steps to root out the corruption in his administration, but it seems like he's just not interested in doing that. So now the question is how many other Ray Martins are out there operating in the shadows, making shady deals and undermining everyone's trust and being extremely corrupt?
We just spoke with the bar owner again, and he tells us the feds and DOI investigators are with him, interviewing him this afternoon in connection with the ongoing corruption investigations into City Hall and the NYPD.
This is a real crazy reminder of how easy it is for people in power to exploit small business owners. The fact that this bar owner felt extorted should alarm everyone, especially if you run a business, obviously, in New York City. If these allegations are true and it looked like it was, it can't just be about one corrupt individual. This looks like an entire system that allows this type of behavior to flourish. You have to have someone in a position of authority offering to resolve NYPD harassment for cash. This is the kind of under-the-table dealing that destroys public trust. And again, where is Mayor Adams in all of this? He talks about cracking down on crime, but it seems like the real crime is happening in his own administration. What does it say about his administration priorities? The resignation of NYPD Commissioner Eric Cabin marks a turning point on the ongoing federal investigation into corruption within Eric Adams' administration. Cabin stepped down just days after federal agents seized his phone and searched his brother's home, along with homes of other top city officials. Cabin cited a growing federal probe as a distraction for the department, but the timing of his departure raised a lot of serious questions about the extent of corruption within the NYPD and City Hall. Let's not forget, Cabin was handpicked by Adams and served as his close ally. The resignation amid these investigations suggests that there's much more to uncover, and he may have been forced out to contain the fallout. So we have to wonder, will more heads roll? At what point will Adams finally take responsibility and clean up his administration before it's too late? The longer he waits, the more it looks like he's complicit in protecting the very people under investigation. But we'll continue to follow this story. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.